Hi everyone, this is me, Teacher Christine, and welcome to this video discussion for Mathematics 9. And in this video, we will learn about quadratic equation. Okay, let's get started. Okay, let us try to understand first what is quadratic equation. So we have here the definition of quadratic equation. So a quadratic equation is a polynomial equation of a second degree. So take note of the word second degree. So if we're saying about second degree, it means that the exponent must be 2. And also, quadratic equation implies that it is comprises a minimum of one term which is squared. And also, we have here the standard form of the quadratic equation, this one, which is the ax squared plus bx plus c, where our a here, our b and our c are real numbers. And also take note that a must not equal to 0, because if a will become 0, then the equation will not remain quadratic anymore, and because it will become a linear equation. That's why please take note of that. Okay, so we have here, so this is our standard form of the quadratic equation. And also, as you can see here, diba, we have ax squared plus bx plus c. So this ax squared here, this one, is our quadratic term. And this bx here is our linear term. And our c here is, c stands for constant. Again, ax squared is our quadratic term. Our bx here is our linear term. And our c here is our constant. So again, we can identify if the polynomial is a quadratic equation if its exponent is 2, or its highest exponent must be 2, or the highest exponent of the variable is 2. So let us have this example. So if we will try to see this example, the equation 5x squared minus 2x minus c. So this equation is in standard form. So now let us check if this equation is a quadratic equation. Again, the main thing, or the main clue that we can say that the equation, if it is a quadratic equation, if it has a second degree. So as you can see here, diba, we have the exponent of 2, this one. So since the highest exponent, or the highest power of this equation is 2, then we can say that this equation is a quadratic equation. So check na. So this is a quadratic equation. Next, let us identify the A, the B, and the C. The A, the B, and the C here, class, this is the coefficient, or the numerical coefficients based on this equation. So A, this is the coefficient of the quadratic term. So, diba, this is our quadratic term, 5x squared. So, what is the coefficient of 5x squared? So, the coefficient of 5x squared is 5. That's why our A here is 5. The next, B. The B naman, it is the coefficient of the linear term. Diba? Our linear term is negative 2x. So, with that, the coefficient of negative 2x is negative 2, right? So, with that, we can say that our B here is negative 2. And our C here, diba? Our C is our constant term. So here, this is our constant term. So our constant term is negative 6. So, okay, we identify na if it is quadratic equation or not. And then we also identify the A, the B, and the C. So let us go with number 2. So we have here the equation 2x squared plus 5x plus 3 is equal to 0. So this equation is naka-standard form na siya. So again, let us try to ask if this equation ba is really a quadratic equation. Again, we can say that equation gani if we can say that an equation is a quadratic equation if its highest exponent of the variable is 2. So as you can see here, diba, the highest exponent is 2. And also, 2x squared is our quadratic term, right? Our 5x is our linear term. And our 3 here is our constant. And then next, let us identify our a, our b, and c. So again, say a is the coefficient of our quadratic term. So this is our quadratic term, right? So the coefficient of 2x squared is 2. And the b here is the coefficient of our linear term. This is our linear term, 5. Then next, our c here is our constant, so 3. Okay, so let us proceed to number 3. So we have here, so for number 3, so these are the quadratic equations of the form ax squared plus bx plus c, or naka-standard form na siya, this one. So as you can see also here for number 4, this one. So this is an example, or these are example of quadratic equation in which it is with the absence of c or the constant term. So absent c or uh, constant term is absent. So as you can see here, you cannot see here a constant term, diba? So diba we know that we have the standard form, and our c here is our constant term. But as you can notice here, we didn't have a constant term. Even if we cannot see a constant term, this equation is also a quadratic equation, because the main thing, or the main rule lang that we can say that a certain equation is quadratic equation if the highest exponent is 2. So as you can see here, the highest exponent is also 2. It is also 2. Okay, so this is also an example of quadratic equation. But now, mom, how can, because I can see here, mom, I cannot see a c. I cannot see a constant term. So what would I write? So if we try to identify the a, the b, and c here, so our a here is 12, because a is the coefficient of quadratic term. And our b here is the coefficient of linear term, and this is our linear term. So our b here is 13. How about the c, ma'am? So c is our constant term, right? But then we cannot see here c. So if we cannot see c here, or if we cannot see a constant term, we'll just write as our c as 0. Okay? So the same is true with number 11. So our A here is 11, our B is negative 27, and our C here is 0. So what if we have an equation like this? 4x squared plus 4. Is this a quadratic equation or not? Okay, so this is a quadratic equation. Because again, the main rule that we consider the equation is a quadratic equation if the highest exponent is 2. As you can see here, the highest exponent is also 2. So this is an example of quadratic equation. Now, let us try to identify our A, our B, and our C. So our A here is 4, because this is the coefficient of quadratic term. Can you see here the linear term? Diba wala? So you cannot see here a linear term. So we will just write the B as 0. And for our constant term, of course, this is our constant term. So 4. So nga na lang siya. Now let us go with example number 5. So this is our example also of a quadratic equation. So this our example for quadratic equation in a factored form. So because if you will try to multiply this one, the result is this. And if you will try to multiply this one, the result is also this. So I will show you. So we have here, let us try to multiply x minus 4 times x plus 2. Remember the FOIL method in multiplying. So F stands for first term. So if I try to multiply the first term, so this is our first term, this one. So x times x, it is x squared. Then O stands for outer term. So this is our outer term. So x times 2 is equal to positive 2x. Then I stands for inner term, this one, or inner. So negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Then L stands for last term. So this one is the last term. Negative 4 times positive 2 is negative 8. Then simplify. So x squared, copy sa x squared, 2x minus 4x, diba? We can combine this one. So we will try to combine like terms. We can combine positive 2x and negative 4x. So 2x minus 4x is negative 2x. Then minus 8. See? The same lang siya with this. Okay? So, this one. So, this is an example naman with an absence of linear, with the absence of linear term or the linear coefficient, which I discussed this one. Oh. Okay. So, here, our A is 4, our B, diba? We cannot see here a linear term, so we will just write B as 0, and our C is 81. For this one, our A is negative 1, our B is 0, and our C is negative, and our C is negative 9. As we saw above, the standard form of quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c. But sometimes the quadratic equation look like that because there are times that the quadratic equation is in this case. For example, as you can see here, so this 3 example is in this guys. So this is an example of quadratic equation because as you can see here, the highest exponent is 2. Diba? So what you do is that from in this guy's quadratic equation, we will make it in standard form first before we will identify the A, the B, and the C. So with that, let us go with number 1. Example number 1. X squared is equal to 3x minus 1. So for us to make this standard form, we will transpose, or we will move all the terms in the right side to the left side. Okay, diba we know that if you will try to transpose or move a certain term to the other side, or from right term to the left term, or left term to the right term, the negative will become positive, the positive will become negative. So it is also with the principle of like the additive inverse, the example. So for example, we'll try to move 3x to the left. So what is the additive inverse of 3x? Negative 3x. So like that. For example lang ha, we write this one. X squared is equal to negative 3x minus 1. So this is our example. So if we will try to move this one to the left side, so we will try to add the additive inverse on both sides. So what is, so let us try to copy first. X squared is equal to negative 3x minus 1. So what is the additive inverse of negative 3x, or the opposite niya? It is positive 3x. Positive 3x. Then negative 1, if you try to transpose negative 1 to the left side, what is the additive inverse of negative 1? It is positive 1. Since we add here positive 1, we will also add here positive 1. So if you can see here, x squared plus 3x plus 1 is equal to 3x minus negative 3x plus 3x. This will become 0. This will become 0. So 0. So in simple term, if you will try to move a certain term to the other side, the negative will become positive, the positive will become negative. So let's go back here. X squared copies x squared. So what if you will try to transpose 3x to the left side, or if you will try to move 3x to the left side, what is the additive inverse or the opposite side? Since this is positive 3x, then it will become negative 3x. Negative 1, if you try to transpose it to the left side, this is negative 1. So it will become positive 1. So we have x squared minus 3x plus 1. Now, this is in the standard form. Then we can identify our a, our b, and our c. So our a is the coefficient of our quadratic term. So 1, our b is negative 3, our c is 1. The same is true with example number 2 and example number 3. For number 2, as you can see here, what we'll do is that we will try to distribute first 2 to the terms inside the parentheses. 2 times w squared is 2w squared. 2 times negative 2w is negative 4w. And then C5, we will transpose or we will move 5 to the left side. So this is positive. Then if we will try to move it to the left side, positive will become negative. That's why from positive 5, nagiging negative 5. Then let us identify our A, B, and C. So our A is 2, B is negative 4, and our C is negative 5. So, ganun din. So, the same process with number 2. Z times Z is Z squared. Z times negative 1 is negative Z. Then, positive 3, if we will transpose or move it to the left side, this is positive 3. Then it becomes negative 3. Then, identify na the A, the B, and the C. A is 1, B is negative 1, and C is negative 3. Okay, let us proceed now to the roots of quadratic equation. So what is the roots of quadratic equation? So we have here the roots of quadratic equation are the values of the variable that satisfy the equation. So the roots of a quadratic equation are also known as the solution. The solutions or zeros of the quadratic equation, or the roots of quadratic equation are the values of a certain variable in which the certain equation will become 0 or it will satisfy the equation. So as you can see here, we have the example or the equation 15 is equal to 2x plus x squared. So if we'll try to write this one in standard form, it would become like this. So now let us try to consider when x is equal to 0. So copy lang muna. So this one, x squared plus 2x minus 15 equals 0. So if x is equal to 3, so we will try to substitute x as 3. So we will substitute x as 3. So we have here, so this is, sorry for typo. So this must be like this. Like this. 3 squared plus 2, open parentheses, 3 minus 15. 3 squared, diba 3 squared is 3 times 3. So 9. 2 times 3 is 6. Minus 15 is equal to 0. 9 plus 16 minus 15 is 0. As you can see, when x is equal to 0, the left side is equal to the right side. 0 is equal to 0. So with that, x is equal to 3. So 3 is a root, or 3 is the root of the quadratic equation x squared plus 2x minus 15. So 3 is one of the roots of the quadratic equation x squared plus 2x minus 15. So the value of x that will satisfy the equation class is called as the root of quadratic equation. It is also called as dilution of the equation. Quadratic equation can have a maximum of 2 roots. Why is it maximum of 2 roots? Because, di ba, quadratic equation has a maximum, or the quadratic equation has an exponent of 2. So if we have exponent, the highest exponent of 2, then it is also the highest number of roots. So if we have x cubed, So the number of roots is 3. But we are talking here about quadratic equation, and we know that quadratic equation has the highest exponent of 2. Then the maximum roots of quadratic equation is 2. Also, we have here the number and nature of roots of quadratic equation can be identified by solving the discriminant b squared minus 4ac. So this is the discriminant formula. The discriminant is used to characterize the roots of quadratic equation without having to solve them. So we have here a guide. So given a quadratic equation, ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, where a is not equal to 0, if b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0, then the roots of a quadratic equation are equal and are both rational numbers. Hence, there is only one real and rational number. So if we're talking about rational number class is a number that can be expressed as the quotient or fraction p over q. So yun, pag sinasabi nating rational number, it can express as the quotient or fraction of p over q of integers, where our p here is our numerator and our q here is our denominator, or p is an integer and also q is also an integer, where q must not be a zero, or q must not or a q must be a non-zero denominator. Next, if b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0 and is perfect square. When you say perfect square, like for example 4 is a perfect square because 4 is 2 times 2. Also, say 9 is also perfect square because 3 times 3. 16 is also perfect square because 4 times 4. So again, if b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0 and is perfect square, then there are two distinct real roots that are both rational numbers. And if b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0 but is perfect square, but this is not the siya, but it is not a perfect square, then there are two distinct real roots that are both irrational. Then also, b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, then the quadratic equation has no real roots. If the discriminant is negative, the roots are said to be two distinct imaginary numbers. Okay, let us try to go with an example. So we have here an example, 4x squared plus 8x plus 9. Again, before we identify the a, the b, and the c, we will try to make the equation first in standard form. So for the number 1, naka-standard form na siya. So with that, let us identify our a. Our a is 4, b is 8, and our c here, constant, is 9. Then we have this discriminant formula, b squared minus 4ac. So let us try to substitute the a, the b, and the c. B squared is 8, diba? So 8 squared minus 4, copy. Our a is 4, this one. C is 9. So 8 squared is 64. 4 times 9 is negative 144. 64 minus 144 is 80. So 80, since negative 80 is less than 0, then the quadratic equation 4x squared plus 8x plus 9 is equal to 0 has two distinct imaginary roots. So ganito lang siya. For number 2, this one, negative m squared plus 2m minus 11, naka-standard form na siya. So after that one, let us identify the a. Negative 1, our B is 2, our C is negative 11. Then, substitute lang. Negative 11 is negative. Oh, sorry, this is negative 1. This is negative 1, sorry. So our C is negative 1 lang. Okay. So our B is 2. So 2 squared. B is 2 squared minus 4. Our A is negative 1. Our C is negative 1. 2 squared is 4. Negative 4 times negative 1 times negative 1 is negative 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. Since the discriminant is 0, then the quadratic equation has one real and rational solution. So as you can see here, this one, ito, and ito, we just base that one here. Ito. Dito lang natin titingnan. Ito yung basis natin. Okay, for number 3, ganun lang din, the same process. And for number 4, the same process also. So, ganun lang siya. So, that ends our discussion or our video discussion about quadratic equation. So, if you have questions, you can type your question on the comment box, or you can PM me, or you can chat me in our group chat. So that's all, and keep safe and have a blessed day.